Okay, so in this lesson, we're going to work through the special solutions flowchart. The flowchart in this lesson will help you with a strategy for determining how many solutions an equation has. So we'll solve the equations, get an answer, and I'll help you figure out what does that answer mean. So we're just going to get straight to the flowchart. So for our first equation, we're actually going to just watch and we'll see what happens once we get this solved. So don't copy anything down, just watch. So I have both sides simplified. Remember, we do that first. If there's something to simplify, we simplify it. And then we start solving. I have told you that you can eliminate whatever term you want first. You can choose. Do you want to get rid of the 4x first, or the 3, or the 2x, or the 7? You have options. I've also suggested that you eliminate the variable first. It does help things go a little smoother. In this case, now that we're starting to try to figure out how many solutions, eliminating the variable first helps with this as well. So I really would suggest, if you're not eliminating a variable first, you should get in the habit of that, or things may not be as easy to figure out when it comes to the number of solutions. But if you can do that and still, know what to do, you're fine. So I'm going to eliminate the 2x from here first because 2 is smaller than 4. I just like to do it that way. So I get 2x plus 3 equals 7. Okay, so now since my variables are to the left, I'm going to move my constant to the right. And I get 2x equals 4. I need to find x, so I'm going to multiply each side by 1/2, because that's the reciprocal of this 2 right here. So the reciprocal of 2 is 1/2. Those cancel, and I get x equals 2. Because I got x equals a number, that means I have one solution. So on your flowchart, next to the one solution section, copy this equation solving down along with your answer. Now under the explanation section, go ahead and copy this statement down. It says if you get a statement with a variable on one side and a constant on the other, your equation has one solution. So hit pause and copy that down. Okay, let's look at another example. Don't copy this down because we don't exactly know where it will go in the flowchart. So just stick with me. Now, I want to eliminate a variable first. I have 3w on the left and 3w on the right. I don't have one smaller than the other. They're actually the same. And when you see your variable and coefficient are exactly the same, that's a big clue that there's something special going to happen. Okay, so this is going to be something special. We just don't know if it's going to be no solution or many. Or maybe you do. But let's go ahead and eliminate the variable. And I get 9 equals 9. So that means I have a number that equals itself. Right? So look on your flowchart. Which of those options shows a number equaling itself? Should be infinitely many solutions. So on your flowchart, find the section for infinitely many solutions. And I want you to copy this example down. Hit pause and do that. Now in the explanation section, copy this statement down. If you get a statement that is always true, Your equation has infinitely many solutions. So this is something that's always true. No matter what, 9 will always equal 9. There are no variables anywhere. I haven't written that because you may not have eliminated the variable like I did. But if your left side equals your right side always true, then you know it's infinitely many solutions. So pause and copy that down. Here's our last one. Again, just watch. So the first thing we want to do, eliminate a variable. Again, I notice that I have the same exact coefficient and variable on each side. I have 2y on the left and 2y on the right. Because they're the same, I know there's something special going to happen. Because when I eliminate one of them, I get a number that does not equal the other number. 5 does not equal 2, and it will not ever equal 2. So look on your flow chart to where you have a number that cannot equal itself. So if you have a number that cannot equal itself, that is no solution. So find the no solution section, copy this example down. Hit pause and do that. And now here's your explanation. If you get a statement that can never be true, your equation has no solutions. So if that can never be true, ever, 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 you know that it's no solutions. All right, now let's take a look at some examples. You'll copy these down in your notebook on the next empty page. So here's example 1. At this point, I want you to copy this down and I need you to solve that on your own. All I'm going to do for you is show you the correct work and talk about the answer. Because again, at this point, we've been solving these equations for weeks. So copy this down, hit pause, start solving. All right. So if you take a look, I try to color code this. The purple is, the main problem in each step of the way. The blue and the green are the solving steps. So once you simplify, eliminate one of your variables. As you solve, no matter what happens, what you did first, even if you did minus 6x on both sides or minus 3 on both sides, no matter what you did, you will end up with x equals negative 3/2, no matter what avenue you take to get there. Again, you have choices, remember. But no matter what choice you made, you will all end up with x equals negative 3/2. On your flow chart, which of those sections matches x equals a number? Should be one solution. So the way you answer this on a quiz or test or whatever, you identify your answer. You would circle or identify your answer somehow, and then write one solution. Especially if you're asked, how many solutions does this equation have? Okay, let's look at example 2. Copy this down and start solving. One thing to not forget is there's a negative sign in front of these parentheses, which means there's a negative that has to get distributed, but there's no number. What number is going to go there? Don't forget. Don't let that make the whole problem incorrect. So hit pause, take care of that. All right. Take a look at the work here. I tried to identify each step that I did in some different colors so that you can kind of keep track of everything. What you should end up with is a number equaling the exact same number. No variables. Now, if you didn't eliminate a variable, you're still going to get the same thing on both sides. If you look at this step right here, I have a negative 3a, a negative 3a, a negative 12, a negative 12. My left side equals the right side exactly. They're identical. If your left side is identical to your right side, infinitely many solutions. So again, put a box around your left side equaling the right side, and then infinitely many solutions. You could just write many solutions, infinite solutions, any of those are acceptable. Okay, last example. Get that copied down, solve it, and let's see what happens. This is a +2 down here. Hit pause until you're ready. So here's our work. Just try to show you on each side the different steps. You end up with negative 10 equals negative 10, or something where the left side does not equal the right side and will never equal the right side. Which means no solution. So again, use that flow chart. Take a look and see, when you solve it, where does what you see fit? Do you have a variable equaling a number? Do you have a number equaling something equaling itself or identical? Or do you have two numbers that will never equal each other? And that's it.